I got a little Stadia update for you. You know, we had the sad news. They were shutting down their studios, remember? They were shutting down their own, at least their own game development.
Yeah.
Which was announced. It was a very optimistic time. At the time. Was COVID even a thing when Stadia? I'm trying to think. They were on stage. No, it wasn't.
I believe it was like October or November.
Of 2019?
2019, yeah.
So that was just before?
I think so.
Wow. So Stadia ruined everything.
It was the beginning of the end.
Of course, I'm joking, but it was super optimistic. They're like, yeah, you're going to stream games. It's AAA, and we're doing our own games, and we bought these studios or whatever. And you're just like, holy cow, Google's
they're doing something.
Coming at the gaming thing from every angle. Well, then they came out recently and said, oh, yeah, the studio thing is hard, with the coding and whatnot, and the work hours. And I mean, how often do you hear a news story about disgruntled developers or subpar life experiences? And you sit there and you think, wow, maybe actually Google doesn't want to be directly affiliated with what is really a tough grind of what is really not the most glamorous thing when you lift the curtain.
Yes.
Which is often the case with hard work in general.
Yep.
Is that you lift you pull back the curtain and you're like, damn, never knew that. That was so hard.
Yeah, who knew, right?
No, I'm saying like people on the outside, they just see the finished product. And then they go on Twitter and they're like, you suck. Your game sucks.
Yeah.
And you suck.
Yeah.
And I'm amazing. And you're just like, well, what did you do? You just played the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's like the customer's always right type of thing,
Yeah.
That's like you're at the restaurant and the person is just being so picky next to you. And it totally spoils your experience because this person is just like nitpicking everything about it.
Yeah.
And you're like, just make it on your own then.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Go try it out, Make it yourself.
Make it on your own.
Yeah.
Well, for both reasons. I don't know if I can tell the people complaining about video games to make their own. That's kind of funny, actually. Goes to show you how tough the task actually happens to be. But I'm just saying.
But everyone's a critic.
I'm trying to live from a place of appreciation.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Whenever I can, say, "Wow, that's amazing." Anyway, Google obviously figured out, as far as the Stadia stuff was concerned, that they wanted to take a slightly different approach. They closed down the development studios. But they're not done. They announced plans for 100 games this year, and they're kind of just, I guess, shifting their focus and their resources to try to attack this thing. Some of those titles, FIFA 21, Judgment, and Shantae Half Genie Hero, will be making their way to the streaming platform. Obviously, 100 games is a lot more than that, but those are some titles you may have heard of. I watched a couple, actually, if you click on the this was announced via their community blog, and I watched some of the trailers. The Judgment one looked kind of cool. Google Stadia boss Phil Harrison spoke about the decision to close their first-party efforts on the corporate blog as well. Here, we'll read a quote. We launched Stadia with the goal of making your favorite games instantly available wherever you want to play them. With the recent successful launch of Cyberpunk 2077 on Stadia, gameplay on all types of devices, including iOS, growing our slate of YouTube integrations, and our global expansions, it's clear that Stadia's technology has been proven and it works at scale. Having games streamed to any screen is the future of the industry, and we'll continue to invest Stadia and its underlying platform to provide the best cloud gaming experience for our partners and the gaming community. This has been the vision of Stadia since the beginning. So, kind of saying, we're not done here. We're just shifting. We're not done here. We believe we did something. I believe they did something, particularly around the Cyberpunk situation, which was actually what made the game studio news kind of a little bit, not surprising, but like you kind of felt that they had a recent success with some of the press and experiences coming out around Cyberpunk on Stadia. But it actually appears to kind of have acted more like a benchmark for them to say, we can do that, so what should we do now? because they took that AAA title that everyone was having difficulty with, and they figured a way to create an experience that was actually playable using their technology. And so they talked about potentially integrating better with pre-existing developers for how to have Stadia more native to the games that could potentially utilize some of that, some of their bandwidth, some of their expertise. So it is going to be a shift, but the benchmark is good, which is a good sign. I mean, it's not a place to give up. And I do agree that for most people, for gaming in the future, it is going to be one of these scenarios. There is an appeal to the idea of instantly launching into your game. There is an appeal of playing on any device that you like. Like, these things are true.
Yeah. No buying a game, downloading, installing. It's all right there. And you just load it up and you start playing.
Now, it's not going to be easy to execute on the other portions. You got to get the titles. You got to do these things. But it appears that through this focus shift, maybe they can do more of that and kind of simplify the mission a little bit, as opposed to what they were trying to do with their own development studios. So a lot of new games are coming, is what I'm trying to say.
Uh-huh.
They're not done here yet.